Campbell, who has 21 Breeders' Crown titles to his credit, also is fortunate to be driving the sensational filly pacer So Fresh in another championship race. So Fresh has been oh so good, winning 14 of 18, including 7 races in a row. And in her elimination division last week, she signaled that she is clearly the best as she annihilated the field in effortless style. The richest filly of the season and a world record holder at a half-mile track, she is so special to watch and to drive.
She's been very consistent. It's really amazing that a filly has raced as tough as she has all year, and she's actually getting better and better as the year's gone on.
Coming up next, the swan song of the 1992 Breeders' Crown season. 2 races for 3-year-olds and a showcase for 2 of harness racing superstars. We're live 20 miles southeast of Cleveland, Ohio at the home of the Flying Turns Northfield Park Harness. And welcome to the final Breeders' Crown event of 1992 as the 3-year-old Pacers take center stage in 2 championship races. Winter has arrived early on the North Coast. It snowed yesterday. There were flurries today. It is snowing tonight. Temperatures could plummet as low as 25 degrees. The wind is calm. Hello again, everyone. I'm Bruce Beck. Welcome to the culmination of the harness racing season and the grand finale of the Breeders' Crown Spectacular for 1992. Tonight we feature the 3-year-old Pacers. We begin with the fillies, and then we move on to the sports glamour division, the 3-year-old pacing colts. Bell, let's turn our attention now to the pacing fillies, and you have to talk about So Fresh. She has been a sophomore sensation, and she's currently on a pretty good streak, 7 races in a row.
Indeed she is, and as the earlier graphic pointed out, yet another George Siegel production is So Fresh. She is the dominant filly in her division this year. She's the one to beat tonight, and she has a 7-race winning streak coming into the Breeders' Crown this evening. Now, part of the reason for that successful 7-race winning streak is an important equipment change on So Fresh. She went from a closed bridle to an open bridle, which makes her a more relaxed horse, according to driver John Campbell. That is a big difference, and we saw that last week in the elimination heats.
Right now, let's take a look at the complete field for the 3-year-old pacing fillies and the morning line odds. Number 1, So Fresh, 1-2 with 7 wins in a row. Number 2, Simply Ravishing, who won her elimination division, 4-1. Come Unwound is 10-1, and Hop Irish 12-1. Express Gate 17 of 20 in the money this year, 20-1. Loving Success, second to So Fresh 4 times in the year, 8-1. Hazelton K, the defending Breeders' Crown champion, but hot and cold this year, 20-1, and Lady Joanna at 30. Big crowd on hand, Northfield Park Harness, just off of Lake Erie. And this is a sensational half-mile oval facility. And when you talk about the race upcoming, the 3-year-old filly pace, you have to look at the history and realize that favorites have dominated. As a matter of fact, 7 of the 8 have gone on to be divisional champions. The only one that did not, Glow Softly, back in 1986. She returned $67.40. And clearly tonight, the favorite will be So Fresh. Time for the post parade, and there is number 1, So Fresh.
The dominant filly in her division this year, easy Breeders' Crown elimination winner, has a 7-race winning streak coming into this event. The services of John Campbell and the rail. All the credentials, Bruce, for a big win.
Driver John Campbell has dominated Breeders' Crown competition with 21 victories, including 2 in this same race, Cheery Hello in 1989 and the incomparable Miss Easy in 1991. Number 2 is Simply Ravishing.
The filly with probably the best shot to upset So Fresh. You would think her game plan is to try to get that perfect trip behind her rival. Now, she's the other impressive Elim winner, and she's got over $265,000 in the bank.
The pilot is Bill Fay, who has 2 Crown titles to his credit, both with the Distaff Group. He won his first race at age 14 and is currently one of the top drivers at the Meadowlands. Number 3 is Come Unwound.
This Tyler B filly showed good late pace last week here. Post 3 shouldn't hurt her, but she'll have to produce a lifetime best effort to have any chance at an upset. A consistent filly, she's been in the money 19 of 24 starts.
Although he's driven in the Breeders' Crown just once, driver Dave Pallone has lofty credentials and is currently ranked third in the nation with 504 wins. He has 2 drives tonight with 2 different trainers.
And trainer Dan Altmaier.
Number 4, Hop Irish.
Canadian-owned, this daughter of Albatross has piled up impressive stats in Canada, including a win in the Simcoe Stakes at Mohawk. She has tremendous gate speed, and it'll be interesting to see what she does with it. Only 2 starts last year, 26 in 92.
The driver, David Keys, is based on the Ontario circuit. He learned the craft in high school from well-respected Canadian horseman Ron Waples. He's making his Breeders' Crown debut. Number 5 in this field is Express Gate.
Express Gate by the hot sire Jate Lobel. This filly is making her 2nd Breeders' Crown start. She finished 5th and did not qualify in last year's 2-year-old filly pace. She's been in the money 17 of 20 starts this year.
Bill O'Donnell is in the bike. The Magic Man has managed to reach the winner's circle 10 times in Crown competition and is a member of Harness Racing's Hall of Fame. Number 6, Loving Success.
Well, here you go, Bruce. Just $10,000 bought this Jate Lobel offspring at the yearling sale. She's banked $160,000 this year and over $250,000 lifetime. A Breeders' Crown win tonight would be the icing on the cake, but that idea may be half-baked.
Ohio-based driver-trainer Ernie Kaufman makes his Breeders' Crown debut with a filly he broke as a yearling. The 46-year-old Kaufman calls her the best horse he's ever had. Number 7 is Hazelton K.
1991's Breeders' Crown champ and 2-year-old filly pacer of the year. It hasn't been the same type of season for this filly in 92, and she certainly will have her work cut out for her from post 7. It's a very tough spot here.
Mike LaChance controls this filly. He's been a force in the Breeders' Crown competition since its inception with 8 winners, including 2 last month in Pompano. And number 8 completing the field is Lady Joanna.
Well, she is in the final, but will need a tremendous amount of luck. A nice filly, but a bit overmatched here. This is the first Breeders' Crown start for this homebred, who has banked $123,000 this year.
Buckeye State native Sam Noble is the driver-trainer, known as Chip. This 3rd-generation horseman has captured 3 national driving titles. So there's a look at the complete field for the 3-year-old filly pace as we look at So Fresh, the favorite. 14 of 18 this year, 7 wins in a row. Coming up next, the pace setters in the 3-year-old filly division will meet the top contender. There's a look at the 3-year-old log filly, So Fresh. 7 victories in a row, won her elimination last week at odds of 1-20, and right now is being held as the public's choice from the rail with John Campbell, the driver. 1-5 right now, the odds in So Fresh. Simply Ravishing at 6-1. Come Unwound is 8-1, and Loving Success at 18-1. So it's So Fresh, the one that they're trying to catch. Right now, Gary Seibel has a look at some of the key horses to watch in this 3-year-old filly pace.
Last weekend's eliminations produced our top 2 contenders in this division, both with impressive yet different winning styles. Brittany Farm, So Fresh, looked just that way as this season's dominant 3-year-old filly pacer had plenty of ammo in her arsenal. Using the rail position and its big advantage here at Northfield, driver John Campbell had his strong bay filly setting all the fractions after a brief battle for supremacy around the first turn with Hop Irish, who was quickly settled into the 2nd spot behind the pace setter. Cameras and China Princess were taking the tough overland route, racing on the outside while trying to close in on the leader. Those tactics ultimately failed. And posting the pedestrian time of 1 minute in the middle section of her elimination heat, So Fresh had plenty left as they turned for home, with her opponents giving futile chase to the wire.
Right there, poised as Hop Irish. Into the stretch they come. On a drive for the wire, and So Fresh bringing them down. Opens back up by 2, 2.5. Then it's Hop Irish on the outside flying, Loving Success, but it's So Fresh and Campbell. There they are.
She's very tough when she has the rail, and she's got very good gate speed. Once got the first quarter in, she relaxed and had things her own way, and she's very difficult to beat when the race goes like that.
And as John Campbell said, she may be difficult to beat, but Simply Ravishing was the last horse to do it back at the end of August. In her limb, Simply Ravishing, highlighted here, was reserved back at the start from post position 5, then taken to the outside as the field moved to the half-mile marker. The tough daughter of Abercrombie was hoping to flush cover. In other words, have a horse from the rail move out in front of her to cut the win, but that never materialized. So she raced on the outside, steadily closing in on the pace-setting Breeders' Crown defending champ Hazelton K. Fortunately for Simply Ravishing, Hazelton K posted moderate middle fractions, allowing her to close in off of a slow pace. And Hazelton K, who captured the 2-year-old filly pace last year, eventually tired on the front end, but did manage to hold on for a spot in the final. Come Unwound, getting an advantageous Rail trip closed on the inside with a rush, while Express Gate raced evenly and at the rail as well for Magic Man Bill O'Donnell to gain a spot in the final.
Racing at the Rail Express Gate and on the outside, Tarport Sensation. They're in the stretch on a drive for the wire. And turning him down. Simply Ravishing is out there by 2. Now flying in the passing lane. Trying to do it is Come Unwound with Hazelton K. As they come to the wire, Simply Ravishing fighting to hold it.
The impressive win guaranteed Simply Ravishing one of the 2 inside post positions and most likely a better trip in the final. And watch Come Unwound as they turn for home. This filly took a rail trip throughout and then strategically took the inside passing lane to close strongly in the stretch, just missing. And you can bet on it that the inside passing lane will play a big part in tonight's Breeders' Crown events as our fields of fillies and colts turn into the home stretch.
The betting favorite in all 18 of her starts this year. She'll be the favorite once again tonight. She looked for her first crown when we come back. Here's a look at the current odds in the 3-year-old filly Pace, where So Fresh is being held as the 1-5 Public's Choice. Simply Ravishing from the 2-hole 5-1. This is a 1/2 mile oval. The stretch is just 440 feet. Loving Success 23-1. Hazelton K, last year's champion, 30-1. Gary Seibel, your thoughts going into this race?
Well, my thoughts are pretty much So Fresh. She's the one to catch here. Simply Ravishing from the 2-hole has the best shot at her, the best shot to catch the top filly in the division this year. But I think her work's going to be cut out for her.
All right, they're getting ready to come to the gate. Track announcer here is Greg Young. The world record is So Fresh and Shady Daisy, 153-3. And the Northfield Park track record, Yankee Coed, 155-1. Up for the call of the Breeders' Crown 3-year-old filly Pace. Here's Greg Young.
The Breeders' Crown 3-year-old filly Pace is on its way. So Fresh first away along the inside. Draws out, has the lead 3/4 of a length. Simply Ravishing is racing a second. Moving up rapidly to take that 3rd spot is Come Unwound. They race into the backstretch as they go off the curve. So Fresh and John Campbell out there by 2. Simply Ravishing is second, a length and 3/4. Come Unwound sits 3rd. Further back, Hop Irish is 4th. It's Express Gate 5th, racing 6th. There's Loving Success. Then comes Hazelton K, your early trailers, Lady Joanna. They pass the opening 1/4 mile in 28 2/5 seconds. Pacing into the far turn the first time. And it's So Fresh on top, cutting that pace. Has that lead a length and a half. Simply Ravishing is still sitting second. Right there to be 3rd is Come Unwound. Now looking to the outside, Hop Irish also off the rail. It's Express Gate with Loving Success. Then it's Hazelton K and Lady Joanna. Down they come to the halfway point of the race. It's So Fresh. She's out there a length and 3/4. Simply Ravishing is right there looking her over second, a length and a half. Come Unwound 3rd. Hop Irish on the move outside 4th. Express Gate is 5th, followed by Hazelton K. They're halfway home in 58 3/5 seconds. Around the club turn they go their final time as they race into the backstretch. And it's still So Fresh, has that lead a length and a half. Simply Ravishing second, a neck on the outside. Hop Irish 3rd. In along the rail, holding onto that full spot is Come Unwound along the outside, Express Gate. Then it's Loving Success, Hazelton K and Lady Joanna. They're over at the 3/4 mile mark of the race. So Fresh takes them there a length in 1:28. On the turn, they're coming home as they make the swing. Up on the outside now, here comes Hop Irish to challenge. Simply Ravishing, locked in 3rds, looking for racing room. Around they come for the top of the stretch. And it's So Fresh, she's got it a length and a half. In the lane they come, Simply Ravishing along the inside. And on the outside, Hop Irish, now roaring in the passing lane, trying to make it up. Here comes Come Unwound as they come to the wire. So Fresh will win the Breeders' Crown in 1:56.
So it's So Fresh, your race winner. Driven to victory by John Campbell. She has been phenomenal this year. 8 in a row now, 15 for 19. And she does it wire to wire in impressive fashion. So Fresh, the 3-year-old filly by log out of the Albatross mare, Viking Treasure.
Bruce, even though it's a bit chilly tonight, the track is fast, and So Fresh got away with some moderate fractions here. And as they turn for home, John Campbell just urging her on a little bit now, just showing her the whip a bit and holding off Simply Ravishing on the outside, and then Come Unwound also getting a good rail trip, try to close at the rail as she did last week in the elimination. But So Fresh would not be denied picking up this Breeders' Crown victory tonight.
When a horse is dominant, as this filly is, it's very, very difficult to challenge early or at any time in the mile as far as that goes. And when they finally did mount challenges late in the stages, this filly just was too strong for them, as she has been in all of her recent starts.
So Fresh, owned by Brittany Farms. That's George Siegel again, bred by Richard Kaufman and trained by Bob McIntosh. Driven to victory by John Campbell, capturing the 3-year-old filly pace. Here at Northfield Park in Ohio, on Lake Erie, the winner So Fresh, with John Campbell driving and So Fresh going on to victory and continuing the mastery over the other fillies. The winning driver is John Campbell, who captured his 22nd Breeders' Crown title tonight. And John has joined Gary Seibel and myself down here in the paddock, front paddock area. And John, first of all, how would she rate as far as the fillies you have driven in your career?
Well, she definitely rates right up there. It's hard to compare them from different eras, but any filly that dominates the way she has all year, you know, they have to be considered at the top level.
John, So Fresh had the rail tonight. What kind of an advantage is that here at Northfield Park, the home of the Flying Turns?
Well, it's a big advantage, but she had the rail because she earned it from last week's win. It isn't like she drew the rail. She earned it from last week's win, and she is very intimidating from the rail because she can leave the gate so well, and she can race in front and have a great deal of pressure and still hang on to win.
We're going to take a look at the race shortly, John. Going to the 3/4, you looked like you were in full command right from the outset.
Well, once nobody left, I felt very confident going around the first turn. All she needs is a little breather sometime during the mile, and when I got the 2nd quarter in like that, you know, she's just too strong when the race goes her way like that.
What were you thinking right here? You must have known that Hop Irish was on the outside and Simply Ravishing was there and Come Unwound. What were you thinking at this point?
Well, I just didn't want anybody to pop out and sprint by her. I wanted to make sure she was started up coming into the stretch. I've got a lot of respect for Simply Ravishing. I've seen her go some big trips, and I just want to make sure she didn't pop out and brush by us.
Well, John, once again, congratulations. We're doing this an awful lot. Now, 22nd Breeders' Crown win. Congratulations to you and all the connections of So Fresh.
All right, thanks very much.
Let's take a look now at the final order of finish. By the way, the last loss for So Fresh was August 29th of Simply Ravishing. So Fresh, time at a mile, 1:56 flat. Come Unwound 2nd. Simply Ravishing 3rd. Hop Irish finished 4th. Loving Success was 5th. Lady Joanna, Express Gate, and Hazelton K. Stan Bergstein, we've seen some very good fillies during our Breeders' Crown season, and where does she rate in your mind?
I don't know where she rates in my mind overall, because it's difficult because of her dominance over this field. You have to get some competition that people can try someone before you can evaluate a horse, and this filly has just stood out so definitely over what she's been racing against that it's hard to really put her in. She's obviously a top-notch filly, as John says.
And clearly a case of divisional honors once again tonight.
Well, there's not much question about that. She is home free. George Siegel, one interesting thing about it, you know, buying yearlings, Bruce, in racing is equivalent to arbitrage or dealing in futures in the stock market. Mr. Siegel is a commodities trader. He only gave $22,000 for this filly as a yearling. He gave $105,000 for Western Hanover, whom we're about to see. He gave $210,000 for the dam or mother of Arts Place, his horse of the year this year, undefeated in 16 starts. He rolls the dice pretty good, and he comes up with good ones at the lower level as well as the top one.